Stirring the coffee with chopsticks using the vortex method, the only true way to optimize the taste of your coffee at the molecular level. Good morning. Welcome to the Daybreak Show. I am the Sultan. We'll get started, but first, coffee. Nice. One learns, first of all, in beach living, the art of shedding. How little one can get along with, not how much. That came from Anne Morrow Lindbergh. I really love that. I have this theory that the more beautiful of a place that you live in, the less stuff you want and need, because the beauty and satisfaction comes from your surroundings outside rather than material goods on the inside. You know, I've always said that you're always one piece of content, one book, one comment, one tweet away from making riches, which is probably one of the reasons why we just keep going as content creators. But you have to have content. There has to be substance. You can't serve air on a plate. You have to give some meat. And many times it has to be red meat, something that's got blood in it, something that has life in it. And I think that's important for those that have YouTube channels and those that are busy on social media and those that want to make a living on social media. I started to make a living. It took me 2 years to make what I call mortgage money. And then, well, actually, I'll never forget the first thing that I started paying for with my online income. Now, making income is usually, or making riches, is evidence that you're making an impact. If your goal is to make riches, you might make it, you might not, most likely not. If your intention is to make an impact, you might make it, you might not, but the reality is you need to monetize content. It has to be valuable enough that people are willing to give you a credit card number, open up a wallet and give you cash, transfer wealth to you, gold, silver, land. Your content has to be solid enough where people look at it and their life gets better when they apply it. Their mindset remains stable throughout trauma and chaos, through times where there's no answers. What do you have that people can hang on to in a storm in their life? People don't remember you when times are going well for them. They remember you when times got dark, they had no answers, and you were there for them. And that has been my goal from day one with this channel, was to provide answers somehow, some way. It started out, for those of you that are the veterans of the Sultan, my very first video was how to groom your beard. I think it might have been a 30 or 40-second video. I have to go back and download it again because I no longer have it on a hard drive anywhere. And I think it was a vertical video too, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I think the topic was encouraging men to not trim their beards when it's humid out, in the same way that the girls with curly hair will tell you that their hair just gets frizzy and huge on humid days. The same thing with a bigger beard. On humid days, it misbehaves. So you think it's getting longer, and then what happens is you go to trim it. And then the first day that it's not humid, you realize there's chunks and divots taken out of your beard, because what you were doing was just trimming off the hair that was affected by humidity. Now you have a chunky looking crappy beard. Don't be impulsive when you're trimming your beard. Let the humidity pass. Beards are going to act exactly like curly hair in humidity. So when in doubt, grow it out. Don't mess with the beard. And that's when I started teaching that the concept and principle of time and length are the answer to all of your beard issues. Time and length. And when you have a lot of hair on your face, you can look completely crazy. It's interesting. It's almost, it's a story of opposites. You can look crazy or look real wise. And until you learn how to take care of all that hair, you just look crazy. So here's some peace for you. No matter what happens in the world, no matter what is happening, because if you watch the news, well, if you still watch the news, if you still watch television, I don't want to say shame on you, because this is not a shame-based broadcast. Turn off the TV. Turn it off. I can tell the people who watch TV when I have conversations with people, when I'm out and about. I can tell the women who are addicted to reality shows, and I don't think it's cute. It comes out in their personalities. I've been on this earth long enough to recognize the peace of women who don't watch TV versus the peace or lack of peace of women who do watch TV. They're on edge all the time, because they're pretty much taking in the attitudes and the temperament of the people on these programs. But back to the topic of order and meaning. In spite of what's happening in the world, the craziness, the wave after wave of nonsense, and it is manipulative psyops. For those that don't know what that means, psyops is psychological operations. It is a mind war. The mind war happens first, and then the actual war happens, where people get killed and hurt. But the war begins here. You are being weakened by wave after wave after wave, assault after assault, on your mind first. You don't think wearing one of those is part of the psyop? You think it's all about the you-know-what? You need to do some creative thinking. Think outside the stupid box that you've been in. Ecclesiastes 3 says that there's a time for everything. And what we are experiencing right now, there is a time for it, which means it's going to end and something new is going to start. There's a time for war, there's a time for peace. There's a time for darkness, there's a time for light. There's a time for the various polarized states of being in the world. Nothing lasts forever. Because of that, and because there is a greater control happening, there is order and meaning in the midst of a hurricane, an information war, a mind war, a psyop. In the midst of that, there still is order and meaning. So have faith in what I'm saying. There's order and meaning. It still exists. Your skills will be the new currency if the financial system collapses. Start inventorying your skills now. I used to give people a skills inventory many years ago when I taught a class called The Psychology of Career Development. I created a 3-credit college class, and I taught that for many years. And one of the things that I do is have people create a skills inventory. What can you do? What do you do? Most people's first answer is scratching their head. I'm going to have to think about that. So your homework is to inventory, make a list of what you can do. I don't care how, if you can boil water, that goes on the list. If you can make a fire without matches, that goes on the list. If you can cook, that goes on the list. If you know how to dehydrate food, that goes on the list. If you know how to use a straight razor, that goes on the list. If you know how to sharpen a straight razor, that goes on the list. Inventory. It might take you a week to create a list, and still it won't be exhaustive. You need to know what you can do and how it can be useful if the monetary system crashes, which it's going to. Never take on someone as a project. Never. No project people in your life. The only projects should be your young children, and that is to raise them to fly the coop. That is it. Anything else, no one else is a project. You think people have potential. Do you ever date someone because they have potential? How'd that work for you? You can bring the best out of them, and then they split. Yay, you got used. You can pour you and your resources into them, and they never change. Waste of time. So my advice is, when it comes to projects, stick with old furniture and cars. That's it. No project people. Do not date projects. So I have a denial letter my entire week in the hospital that was denied by my insurance company. I supposedly have one of the best insurance companies that there is, one of the best benefit plans. And the entire week got denied, so I'm sure it's tens of thousands of dollars. So this is the game you have to play with your insurance company. They probably deny everything. And can you imagine going to court with legal issues? What's the phrase go? The man who represents himself has a fool for an attorney. Same thing with insurance companies. I'm not a doctor. I'm going to get on the phone with an insurance company and make an appeal, and I don't know how to medically describe what the hell's going on. All I have is my feelings of how I felt and what happened. So that's the game I have to play with Aetna Insurance. They deny everything. Most people don't want to fight and argue and appeal, so they just pay it. And then the others goes back and forth. First appeal, second appeal, third appeal. So I guess that's how insurance companies work now, because guess what? Insurance companies, they don't represent you. Now, I have a friend who had a fire last week in their house down at the Jersey Shore. The insurance company was called, and then a public adjuster, a claims adjuster was called to represent the homeowner and get them more from the insurance company to cover half the house that was burnt and the contents of the house. Somebody advocate for them. But the insurance companies, now health insurance companies, just send you 5 pages and say you're denied. And you, not as a medical professional, are supposed to get on the phone and have an appeal with them. And you're talking to an RN, it might get bumped up to a PA or a doctor. And here you are, a person who was in pain a week earlier. And the only thing that you can communicate are your emotions about the issue. Why isn't the UR department utilization review, the UR department in the hospital, why aren't they fighting for your diagnosis or why you were in the hospital? Why didn't that happen? Why did the hospital keep me 5 days? If they knew, now think about this, if they knew that the insurance company wasn't going to pay it. How interesting. So now I will start getting billed by the hospital. When I get the final bill, I will share it with you. Already I know that the emergency room visit, just the emergency department alone, I got that bill. I don't even know how the hell that happened. That bill was waiting for me when I came home. I have health insurance. It's insurance to ensure that my health is taken care of. And with everything that I've gotten recently, as far as bills, it's as if I don't have insurance. So people getting all jumpy. Oh, you don't have health insurance? Right here. What good is it? You tell me. You pay your $20 copay. You get a little vaccine or a shot or a script written, but when it comes to what you really need, they deny everything. It's a little game you got to play. Realize that. Listen, if nobody advocates for you, you're stuck doing it yourself. And most people don't have the knowledge or the desire to appeal and fight. And you don't have the words to use because you're talking to people who are experts at denial and making you more frustrated. Aetna Insurance. Can you hear that rain? It's really coming down. I think this is part of the Hurricane Isaias. Yeah, Hurricane Isaias. That's how I pronounce it. I'd really like to change the world and save it from the mess it's in. I'm too weak, I'm so thin. I'd like to fly, but I can't even swim. The Kinks, 1979. Anyone remember that song? Tell me the name of that song. Put it down in the comment section. I have sitting next to me tactical soap. There are pheromones in this soap. If you're a man, you are emitting pheromones, which attracts the opposite sex. Do you need a little bit of help? Right here. I wash my hair, I wash my beard, I wash my body in it. The last 2 girlfriends I got were the result, directly the result, and I've done tons of what people call A/B testing. The last 2 girlfriends were the result of the tactical soap, pheromone soap. The link for it is down below. It's the best discount you're going to find on the web or anywhere. Get a 5-pack. Do not buy 1 bar. Get the 5-pack. Take my word for it. Order that. The other thing is this. If you sign up for my newsletter, if you go to georgebruno.com, sign up for my newsletter. I'm going to do a random drawing at the end of this week for tactical soap. I will send the winner 3 bars of tactical soap, but from here on out, I will take a look at who has signed up in the next week. So here we are, Tuesday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I do a random drawing of people who've signed up for the newsletter as of today, and you will get 3 bars of tactical soap. I will send it to you. Only in the continental United States, though. That rain is so loud. Of course, there's an acrylic skylight right above there, so it sounds like the rain is coming down on a drum. Tony Montana says, in this country, you got to make the money first. Then when you get the money, you get the power. Then when you get the power, you get the women. Interesting. I'd like to know who wrote that script. I got to do some research on that. That's from the movie Scarface. The script writer was pretty brilliant. I think Pacino just really took that script and made it his own, but I believe the writing in that is incredible. I really do. With the right woman, there's no stopping me. I could go right to the top. Anyway, what I gotta tell you is this. I like you. I liked you the first time I laid eyes on you. Tony Montana. A woman who put on an act for him for 20 years can easily do it for you. You think she's in love with you? Heck. You're amateur compared to her. As I observe the world, and I am paid to observe the world, believe it or not, what a job, right? Evil is now congealing. It's all kind of coming together. I can no longer tell the difference between the alphabet groups, feminism, Democrats. It's all one big group that's dark and evil. They've melted into one color. Imagine leaving a box of crayons out in the sun, and all of those 64 colors melt into one color. That's what it's like. It's now a monochromatic river of ugly wax. It's now good versus evil. It's not Democrat versus Republican. It's not conservative versus liberal. It's virtue versus debauchery. That's what's happening. The left has gone so far left. The right has just stood there and taken the beatings. The silent majority. But I take pleasure in the word majority, not the word silent. So be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Keep making bad relationship choices and keep ending up alone. Yes, it feels good for about a minute and a half, but realize that in choosing to be alone, you have made a choice if you choose to be alone. You are alone by design, not by default. When you start to enjoy your own company and are somewhat comfortable with solitude, then there's no hurry to want to fill that space. There's no urgency to fill the space with anything inferior, because you are valuing being alone and solitude as better than just having someone. Like, I've always found that women always have to have a boyfriend. Very, very few women don't have boyfriends or aren't in boyfriend searching mode. And I, being a former playboy myself, well, you don't want to spend the rest of your life alone, do you? They might say. Or I don't want to spend the rest of my life alone. I like having someone in my life. What you're really saying is this, is that you hate being alone. That's what you are really saying. I hate being alone. Until you can enjoy solitude and being alone, and there's a difference between aloneness and loneliness. Until you can handle that, you will just always be riding the carousel, ladies. Always looking for a new ride, constantly. Yes, I know. Many young women feel the clock is ticking. Many older women just don't want to be alone because they're not comfortable with themselves. It's different for men because men and women are different. When a woman says to me, yeah, but what about men? Let's stop right there. There is no dynamic equivalent when it comes to men and women. There is no male version of what I was just talking about. It's very gender specific. From the book Alice in Wonderland, There is no use trying, said Alice. One can't believe impossible things. I dare say you haven't had much practice, said the Queen. When I was your age, I did it for half an hour a day. Why, sometimes I believed as many as 6 impossible things before breakfast. Alice in Wonderland, written by Lewis Carroll. When you read that book as an adult, you read it differently than you did when you were a child or saw the story as a child. We men are comforted by beauty. We love it. We like it when our women send us their outfit of the day. It's not so much women that desire that from men, but men want to see that from women. What is the outfit of the day? Send me a picture. I want to see how your hair looks. Take a selfie. Ladies, men are visual. And I know you're going to say, I know that. Well, then why aren't you doing something about it? Men are not attracted to you because of your great intellect. Sorry to let you down. They're attracted to you because of your femininity, your softness, your look. And that doesn't mean a size 2, because beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So get that out of your head. We're comforted by beauty and softness, by nature. That's how we're created as men. Hence the reason why we are drawn to women who emulate beauty, softness. We could quietly watch a woman do her thing. Something as simple as washing her face, her nightly routine, getting dressed, getting undressed, brushing her hair. We love watching our women do that. Keep that in mind. You are different than your man. So I have this theory that satisfaction is always greater than arousal. It's not always about a stiff one and putting a stiff one into a soft thing. It's not about that. Satisfaction, there needs to be what I call a satisfaction versus arousal ratio. You need a combination of both. I think the ratio is 3 to 1. I want to see your beauty 3 times for every time that I'm aroused and desire to do something about it. So make satisfaction a lifestyle. I could be sitting here. Now here I am, a single man. I could be sitting here, and if I had a woman, just watching, I don't want to say just a woman, because I'm wife oriented. And not partner either. That's just me. 17 years as a single man, post-divorce. I don't want a partner. I don't want a girlfriend. I'm looking for a wife. Well, haven't you learned your lesson, George? Yes, I have. And I want a wife. But I could be sitting here and a beautiful wife walk into the kitchen, pour a cup of coffee, stand there, look at me and smile, take something out of the refrigerator, and just leave the kitchen area and go back into the family room or up to the bedroom or whatever. And I would be satisfied by watching that, the beauty of that. That's a beautiful thing. Now, did arousal take place? No. Satisfaction took place. Seek satisfaction and arousal will come. If you seek arousal all the time, then you're just living on little hits of cocaine just to feel good. That's why I say satisfaction is always greater than arousal. But there needs to be a ratio. One can't eliminate the other. So I would say a 3 to 1 ratio. So she might come in here, stand alongside me, and say, how's it going? Or good morning, honey. I'd say, good morning, sweetie. And she kisses me right here. She might come here and put her hand on my chest or on my shoulder and stand beside me. She might snuggle up against me for a second, creating satisfaction. Now the arousal might happen on my way up. And when I say arousal, I mean desire for more action. I don't necessarily mean arousal. I mean the desire. So when I'm done with the Daybreak show, I would finish my coffee, splash some water on my face, brush my teeth, go upstairs, because I read the signals properly, and make love to my wife before I go to work. The old man was covered with tattoos and scars. He got some in prison and others in bars. The rest he got working on old junk cars. David Allen Coe, 1977. Older pretty gals always land on their feet. Take it from this old dog. I've watched women that are my age, in their 50s and early 60s, if they're pretty and they have a nice figure, they always land on their feet. Always. One of the reasons why, it's not because of their determination and their intelligence, it's because they're accepted in this world. It doesn't matter. The woman who goes through the ugliest, nastiest divorce still will have a man look at her and go, desire her. A man who goes through an ugly, nasty divorce wears the ugliness and nastiness on his face for many years. A woman can start over tomorrow after an ugly divorce. You see it online. Starting a new chapter. Men, you're a chapter. If your wife ever left you, you are a chapter. You're a page that got turned, so she's ready for a new chapter. Remember that. You're an old chapter. Women can turn you off like a damn light switch, but you can't turn them off so fast, can you? Men and women are different. You wondered how your woman had a boyfriend within 2 days of you splitting up. She's wired that way. Older, pretty gals with nice bodies always land on their feet. They secure a man and a lifestyle. He thinks he's scored. He's high-fiving with his friends at the golf course. The very definition of self-delusion. He turns off all meat guarding because he thinks he won her over. The chemistry was right. It had nothing to do with your efforts. It was all timing. So he's deluded, living a lie. As a former playboy, I can tell you this, those are the easiest women to slay. The places that I've gone to as a single, free, swinging man, bars and clubs and so forth, I would never take my wife to, never, in a million years. I would never want to introduce her to the world that I was in and the people in that world. So you have a great opportunity, gentlemen, if you meet a woman, to introduce her to a new world and create a new world together. Don't bring her backwards into what was your world of wishing and hoping. Build a world together. She wants a car with a cup holder armrest. She wants a car that will get her there. She's changing her name from Kitty to Karen. She's trading her MG for a white Chrysler LeBaron. I want a girl with a short skirt and a long jacket. Dude, here's your attitude. She's lucky to have you. You're a good guy, and she's fortunate to have been chosen by you. Her life has been elevated because of you. But I'm not surprised. You worked hard at being a top-tier man. What woman wouldn't desire to be with you? Good job, sir. Well done. I have one friend who did a third marriage and was married for 25 years. A third marriage. With all the gloom and doom out there about the percentage of success, the probability of success in marriages. I don't think we should ignore that stuff, but I don't think we should ignore stories like this. The third marriage lasted 25 years until he passed away. Man, he was happy and he got it right. It was as happy as a typical first marriage should have been. And his widow misses him so much, but her memories of him are amazing. And in her mind, he is still with her. True love never leaves, even when the lover is no longer alive. Don't forget that. Some will get that, some will scratch their heads, but I'll say it one last time. True love never leaves, even if the lover is dead and gone. Can you name every man in this picture? Put your answers down below. Tell me every man's name in this picture. Men, I've been telling you now for several years, pursue excellence and excellence will pursue you. Sometimes the excellence comes with an hourglass figure. When you pursue excellence, you automatically eliminate incompetent people, because incompetent people do not pursue an excellent man. So when it comes to women, if you are pursuing excellence, literally, women who practice excellence will pursue you. They will find you, they will encounter you, they will make their way to you. Losers won't. Excellent people will. So stop looking for a woman. Pursue excellence. Sit up straight, stomach in, shoulders back, chest out, head up. Walk 25% faster. Smile more. Stop frowning. Open doors for people. Say thank you, please, you're welcome. The basics that are not taught today. Pursue excellence in everything you do. And excellence will pursue you. And sometimes that excellence comes with an hourglass figure. You will have options. You will never feel alone. You will never feel like there's an empty spot in your life, because you will always have opportunity in front of you in every area of your life, including your love life if you are single. And if you don't have a love life, get ready, because when you pursue excellence, you will have options. But options doesn't mean you're going to take advantage of all those options. Some might. I will not judge that. You will get to have a choice between many excellent women. And remember, there's not joy in options. There's joy in commitment. It's a weird, weird little place to be in. I do like my beard. I like it. One woman would always shit test me by saying, I like your goatee better than your beard. Always just like that little shit test, that pressure, just like little waves coming in. Little waves of disapproval all the time. The result, she's gone and the beard stayed. Should we walk in the mornings or the evenings? Here's a couple talking. Should we walk in the morning or the evenings? Well, why does it have to be one or the other? Why can't it be both? A more vigorous walk in the morning and a stroll after dinner. That's an example of escaping the this or that, the either or trap. You don't have to choose morning or evening walks. You can do both. Where are you stuck in either or thinking? Do you want to live down south? But I'm going to miss the seasons. Well, then live up north and the south. Find a way and make it happen. So many of us are stuck in black or white thinking. It's okay to live in the north and the south. How will you do it? You need the income. How can you get that income? Start the process. Get some coaching. You can't have it all, but you can have most of it. Here's my thoughts about relationships. Relationships. In marriage, there is leadership, provision, and protection. Those are the pillars of a good marriage. Leadership, provision, protection. In relationships, it's all about equality, fun, single-like sex. Remember what I said yesterday about plowing a field but not planting seeds in it. You're just plowing. There's nothing productive coming out of it. So relationships, having sex, and equilibrium, and men with no balls, and everybody becomes one. Men, step up to the plate or get the fuck out. Relationships are nothing but a fake marriage. You heard of fake news? Well, that's fake marriage. Step up to the plate. There's joy in commitment. Am I pro-marriage? Yes. If your head is screwed on straight. Notice I didn't say if your heart is in the right place. I hate that. Well, if your heart is in the right place, it's got nothing to do with the heart. Your heart got you into trouble. It's if your head is screwed on straight. Head is always preferable to heart. You know the scripture that says, guard your heart, for it is the wellspring of life. Did you ever feel less than alive? It's because you let your guard down. And the spring stopped flowing. Place a sentry, a guard, in front of your heart. And allow nothing to get to it, unless your head allows it. Making decisions with your heart and your heart alone will always get you into trouble. Always. And when I say heart, I mean emotions. That's why I'm a stable stoic. I don't deny my emotions, I delay them. Emotions can be your biggest enemy. But emotions can also back up and support good decisions as well. All that being said, having your head screwed on straight is always greater than having your heart in the right place. Quick question for you. What are your thoughts on women wearing head coverings to worship? Lace head coverings. I grew up where women wore head coverings. And that was normal for me. I was not used to seeing in the modern churches sexy women with all kinds of sexy makeup and false eyelashes and the big boobs and the bright red lipstick. I wasn't used to that. I remember women dressed modestly. I've always said modesty is sexy. But I do value the tradition of women covering their heads somehow, some way. It doesn't have to be a scarf, like a hoodie kind of thing. But I think it shows respect for God, respect for the house of worship. It shows submission to her man. And when I say submission, I don't mean slave. Some people think my attitude is make women property again. No. God didn't make you a slave. God provides you with a helpmate, not a slave, not a servant. And the beautiful thing about that helpmate is it bears children that carry on your name and your blood. So choose wisely, gentlemen. And with that, finish your coffee. And I'll see you tomorrow on the Daybreak Show, your home of sanity, clarity, and reason.